everybody. Happy Tuesday morning. Once again, it's that time again to where we're going to do a weekly live stream to where we're going to talk about different business, marketing, sales topics. So this week, what I wanted to focus on is the process of content creations and some of the lessons that I have learned in the past 6 years of making content for myself, for my brand, my team. More specifically, it's not going to be a tactical go on to Instagram, post this, this, and this. It's not going to be like that. It's more of the mindset and the way you need to mentally structure your content to be able to continually post and publish and put yourself out there. So a lot of this has to do with building the habits or the muscles for that long-term content creation. So what we're going to do is go over some of the lessons that I have learned from others, and then other things that I have learned the hard way. So what we're going to start with is just real quick. So we're all told by our superiors, by our influencers on social media, by other people that we look to, we're all told that we need to be putting ourselves out there. Social media content creation should be a new avenue for us to be able to promote our brand and ultimately feed our families. But if you look at your industry specifically, so I'm a mortgage guy. So if you look at mortgage lenders, if you look at real estate professionals, and even outside of our industry, financial planners, CPAs, those kind of things, why are only a handful of people putting out the majority of content? So content creation is something that will help leverage you as a professional, and it'll make it easier for you to have clients say yes to you. So when I look at the content that is created, that we are putting out, it's either pictures of our dog, our family, those kind of things. Those things are great because they show you as a human being and not just a corporate robot. But outside of that, most of the content that I do see was created by a marketing department, by someone you probably don't know, and given to all the people in the company to disseminate. So for example, around holidays, I get the same email from real estate agents because a lot of their brokerages, so say like Coldwell Banker. So Coldwell Banker will have an automatic drip campaign that goes out on the holidays, but every Coldwell agent that I'm on their list, I'll get the same email over and over. So that really takes not necessarily the credibility, but that takes the effectiveness out of that piece of content. So what's the alternative? The alternative is you getting out of your own way and creating the content yourself. And then that inherently will peg you as the authority. So there's basically two different types of content. There's educational, which is the pool that I like to swim in. And then there's entertainment. So that would be a lot of TikTok videos. It's purely entertainment, mental junk food, those kind of things. But the educational content, there are people that need your help. There are clients out there that could use your help. And what we're going to go over today is not necessarily the tactical side of creating that content, but once again, more the mental mindset. So what I've done is I've gone ahead and laid out a list of 9 different things for you to consider to help you get out of your own way to start creating content. So once again, we're going to clean out the mental junk drawer today, get you more comfortable with creating content with you in it, and so that way you can serve the people that need your help. So the first thing that I wanted to talk about is you got to put in the work. So once again, just like a dietary program or regimen or doing push-ups, so you're not going to lose weight by just putting out, by just eating one blueberry or one salad or doing one push-up. So your content's much the same way. You can't just put out one piece of content and then hopefully that is going to last you for years to come. This is a long game, and getting your mind wrapped around the idea that there is no finish line. And once I reach this point, I'll be done, or this is just a project that I have to complete. So there's peace of mind in knowing that there is no finish line. You're always going to be running the race, but there are ways to make it more effective. So another way to measure is, are you having fun doing what you're doing? So if you are creating content already, God love you, keep going. But for those who you aren't or have tried, are you having fun doing so? Is this something that you enjoy doing? So if you hate doing it, if you hate eating that salad to try to lose weight, or you hate working out, the idea that you're going to stick with that long term is not going to be there. So the same thing goes with your content creation. If you hate doing the content creation, there are ways to get around it to make it more fun. And if you need that one-on-one connection, I will be happy to help you kind of work through your content platform to be able to make it easier, reduce the friction in your day to day. So that way it's easier for you to create the content. And once again, it becomes a habit and you no longer have to think about it. One of the things that I do to try to keep myself engaged in creating more content is continually learning. So I like reading. I like audiobooks. I like marketing. I like business psychology, those kind of things. So each month I'm digesting probably 2 or 3 new books. So in those books, I'm given new ideas, new information that could help tweak something that I'm doing in my business already, or it could help move me in a different direction that would be more beneficial. One of the side benefits of learning and reading, instead of just sitting there and watching Netflix all the time or watching TikTok videos in my spare time, one of the benefits of that is it's giving me tools in my toolbox. So that is helping me get better. And one, it's giving me ideas for more content for down the road. So having that laundry list of ideas of content that I want to make, once again, helps me continue to make content for the long term. And the fact that you're continuing to learn and grow is going to, once again, encourage you, or you're going to encourage yourself to keep creating that content, because once again, part of the struggle is knowing what to publish, what to post, what videos to create. So with this live stream, for example, so this is like the 5th or 6th live stream that we've done. And week to week, it's a little bit of a struggle to try to come up with new content, find a new guest to be able to have on here to help provide value for you. However, I came across a podcast that had some of these ideas that I borrowed that I'm going to be sharing with you today. So that happened on Thursday. So continuing to expose yourself to new ideas, new information is going to give you the ability to create more content for a longer period of time, and your well won't run dry. So the next thing that I want to talk about, so once again, that was you got to put in the work, you got to play the long game. So you can't just do it once and just hope that you're just going to make it rain from there. The next thing that I wanted to go, item number 2, was the longer you play the game, the better you will get. So with this, one thing that I like doing is I like tweaking. So looking back at the content that I did last week and then seeing what I could do better, researching how to do better, and then implementing that upgrade or that change in the next piece of content that I do. So what I wanted to share with you is a couple of the first videos that I did in 2016, excuse me. So one of them was my very first video that I did. And once again, it's not horrible, but it could have been a lot better. But seeing what you see now versus what you're going to see here in a second, you can see that I've continued to try to get better, improve my my knowledge of how to create better video. My gear's upgraded over time. And then my confidence is also upgraded as well. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to share with you one of the first videos that I did. And it's actually with one of our CE partners, Eddie Knesevich, who just had a baby girl. Congratulations, Eddie. Hopefully you're enjoying the family at home. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to share the first video that we did back in 2016 when we first started the CE journey.
Afternoon, everybody. Ryan Miracle Home Mortgage. Hope you guys are having a great afternoon. You guys have been getting my emails for a while now on the different services that I offer, but I wanted to be more of a all-encompassing business partner to you. So what I've done is I brought in Eddie Knesevich from Lifetime Financial Growth to help make sure that you guys' financial house is in order. So he's going to talk a little bit about an upcoming event.
Yeah, so thank you, Ryan. One of the things that we want to do in 2017 is really add value to your practice outside of the mortgage space. So Ryan and I have partnered up, and what we're doing is we're bringing you an hour of CE specific to the real estate industry and helping you get your financial junk drawer in order. So what we want to do is show you how to set up your LLC, how to efficiently fund retirement, and make sure that everything works for you as you continue to grow your practice. So we look forward to coming out and meeting with you soon, and look forward to having a great 2017 with you.
So, once again, both of us were so nervous to put that out there. And looking back on it now, I know it was only six years ago, but we both look like babies. But that being said, it was unscripted. We really didn't know what we wanted to talk about. We knew what we wanted to try to accomplish, but the tech, the gear, the lighting, what we said, how we presented ourselves, once again, that has all evolved over time. So to watch Eddie now on video, I mean, once again, he's confident. He is able to deliver his message effectively, and he's able to serve at a high level. And I mean, as a result of starting there, Eddie and his team are one of the most prolific financial planners for real estate agents in the state of Ohio and probably the country. So he's been able to grow his practice by continuing to serve and grow his skill sets when it comes to marketing and serving his clients. So in this point that I wanted to make, the longer you play, the better you get. So if you've not done any content yet, what you're going to find is your content is probably not going to be very good at the beginning, but that's okay. So the way that you fix that is you review what you did. If you see something that you don't like, so like the audio is not great, then do some research. Could it be an upgraded microphone? Could it be soundproofing your room? Could it be a bunch of other things? So constantly looking at the things that you are doing, the content you're putting out, and then being able to look at it and then judge it for the mistakes that you made, and then fix those mistakes so you're that much better next time. So just imagine if you've put out 100, 200, 800 pieces of content, how much better you're going to be than that first time. But you have to get going. You have to put yourself out there to be able to get to that 800th piece of content. So once again, the longer you play the game, the better you will get. So put yourself out there, and then review your content that you put out, make minor adjustments, and then move on. Don't linger on that could have been written better, that could have been shot differently if you're doing video content. But if you do see tweaks that need to be made, make them and then move on. Don't obsess over past content. Put it behind you as soon as you post it. Another thing, part number 3 that I wanted to go over is ignore those who don't care about your success. And a lot of people not putting themselves out there has to do with circling around this idea. We are a creature, humans are a creature that worries about judgment. And quite honestly, even after 6 years of doing this, I still have that twinge, that worry in the back of my mind. However, by doing content on the regular, you become more callous to it, and you learn not to judge your work based upon maybe a negative comment or low views or what have you. So other people's opinions, quite honestly, are not any of your business. So what they think of you, what they think of your content is not any business of your own. If you're enjoying what you're doing, if there's one person out there that could get a benefit from the things that you're saying, the things that you have to teach, your life experiences, then it is your responsibility to put yourself out there to help that one person who could use your help. And if someone doesn't like your content, well, guess what? They're going to move past it pretty quickly. We're all fed so much information these days that if your piece of content doesn't land with them, that's okay, because they've moved on to 30 other pieces of content between probably in the next 5-ish minutes. So once again, don't worry too much about what other people's opinions are. Just keep putting yourself out there, and then you are going to find yourself an audience that loves what you do and is going to be looking to you as the expert in your field, and you can help them solve their problems. The next thing is try new things. So if you aren't experimenting, and that means that you probably have the fear of failure. So trying new things is scary. I remember when when COVID first happened, we taught CE classes in person for about 2 years. And that was something that we were very comfortable with. We'd have a small audience of about 50 people each class. And when we pivoted to moving online, our CE classes online, we were all nervous because we really didn't know how it was going to go teaching through a screen. We really didn't know what to expect. But one of the beautiful things about it now is instead of having 50 people in class, we traditionally have about 150 people in our CE classes now. So our audience, because once again, take it for what it's worth. COVID was a horrible thing that happened to our world, but it helped us, Next Level CE, evolve into being able to help more and more realtors each and every month. I mean, putting the CE credit hours aside, the value that we provide each month helps realtors increase their capacity, save more money for retirement, put up more content, find the right customer, or protect their families in the end. So because of us pivot, not just stopping with the in-person classes no longer being allowed, if we would have stopped there, I wouldn't be where we are right now. I wouldn't be streaming, helping you create content and get out of your own way. So if you are afraid to fail, that is a fundamental fear that we all have. However, you need to take that fear of failure for what it's worth. My suggestion to you is take small risks. So putting yourself out there for content is not that big of a deal. Trying a new sales technique, not that big of a deal. However, if you are a real estate developer and you have $100 million on the line for this real estate deal that you do, if that doesn't go well, then you could be out of work and you could be destitute. So that's a big failure. However, a small failure is putting yourself out there. And there's no risk for putting yourself out there. It's only going to help you get better, and getting over that fear of failure soon will help you move in a positive direction. So once again, take small risks and your failures will be small, but those small failures are going to help build the foundation for what you could be 5 years from now. Let me see here. So done is better than perfect. Now I fall into this trap a lot. Once again, I like doing things at a high level, but the idea that I'm going to wait until a video is perfect or a graphic is perfect or whatever you want to look at is perfect. Perfectionism is just another form of procrastination. So if you are waiting for your content to be perfect, it's never going to be. And you're always going to be looking for different ways to say, I'm not going to push this out yet because of a spelling error, or because of the graphics don't look right, or I don't like how I look on video. So once again, done is better than perfect. And the pursuit of perfection, once again, is illogical, because that means you're going to slow down the amount of content that you're going to be putting out there. And you're going to drive yourself nuts, and it's not going to be an enjoyable thing. So when it comes to the content game, it's not a one and done kind of thing. It is a volume game. Because once again, our phones have become the remote control of our life. And as such, when we have a moment of, when we're not doing anything at a moment, or we are at a stop line or in the line at Starbucks, something like that, we're picking up our phone and looking to be entertained. So the amount of content that people consume in any given day is a lot. So for you to only put out 2 or 3 pieces, but they're beautiful, they're immaculate, people are still going to go buy those the same way that they would is if you downgraded the quality of your work by 20%, but you were able to put out 80% more content as a result of not having that perfectionist mindset. If I had the perfectionist mindset with this live stream, I probably would have never done it. But once again, I want to help you be able to get past the roadblocks that you are putting up for yourself and put yourself out there, because once again, there's someone out there that needs your help. So get out of your own head and start pushing out as much content as you can and serving at a high level. So that kind of takes us to our next point, is be generous. So if you look at the real estate industry and you look at the types of content that are out there, what you're going to see is you're going to see a lot of sales messages, or you're going to see a lot of me oriented messages. Like, look at this closing that I just had. We got a clear to close in 7 days. Look how many clients I've served, those kind of things. So most of that is circling around the idea that look how awesome I am. So there's some of your content needs to be that, showing your credibility as a professional. But at the same time, people are attracted to those who can help them. So think about the people whose content you digest. In a lot of cases, it's people who are trying to educate you or help you improve your skill set, your revenue streams, those kind of things. So the kind of content that I would like you to focus on mostly has to do with trying to help others. So once again, like we talked about at the top of the show, there are two different types of content. So there is educational, and then there's entertainment. So there is some place for entertainment when it comes to real estate, like creating a funny video as a branding video. But for the most part, we're in an industry that most people don't necessarily understand. So educational content is valuable. And making sure, let me back up a little bit. So Donald Miller has a book called Building a Story Brand. In his book, Building a Story Brand, what it talks about is you as the service provider should not be the hero. So think about most of the movies that we watch. So the movie format's pretty much the same. So we have a hero, or the focus of the story, that is going along one day, and then something tragic happens, and that sends their perfect life into a tailspin. Well, what they do is they start going into a journey where they are looking for a solution, and along comes a guide. So a guide, in this case, could be Yoda. If you're a Hunger Games fan, it could be Haymitch. So name whatever movie you want. In the movie Ghost, Demi Moore was the focus of the movie, but Whoopi Goldberg was the guide, and she helped Demi Moore along her journey. And that's what I want you to focus on, is not necessarily making yourself the hero, because when it comes to attracting the clients that you want to work with, if you are always pegging yourself as the hero, that means that they're likely going to tune you out, because they, in their mind, are the hero of their own story. However, if you are the vehicle that is going to help them get from point A to point B, you're going to have a lot better chance of scoring that client, because once again, they have a problem and they are looking for a guide to help them fix their problem to get to the other side. So helping others through your content, educating others through your content is a huge game changer. And it was for me too. So instead of sending out sales message all the time, if that is all you put out, what you're going to end up with is feeling like people, it's going to be implied that you have commission breath. All you're wanting to do is sell. You're not wanting to actually help people. You're just looking for another paycheck. And that doesn't feel good. For the person receiving the message, you don't feel valued, you don't feel heard. But if you can make it to where you are helping them and you can help solve their problems, the kind of content that you would create there is going to move your content creation forward, because you feel good about what you're doing. Just looking at my notes here. So a lot of us are worried that the industry knowledge that we have, if we give that away, that will mean that we have less. But what I have found is the two paths that you can walk is a scarcity mindset or an abundance mindset. And this is something that my wife taught me a long time ago, is if you have an abundance mindset, your life can be incredibly magical. If you have a scarcity mindset, your life is going to be less fruitful. So when it comes to your knowledge that you have earned over decades, a year, however long that you've been doing what you're doing, that's knowledge that you have learned and that you should be sharing with others. And you sharing that information is not going to take anything away from you. It's only going to add to your practice. So don't worry about if you create a piece of content and one of your competitors does the same kind of content. Once again, they're not you. They are going to do it their own way. I mean, quite frankly, this list that I'm coming from right now, I got this from one of the people that I look to as a coach, and they laid this out for me. And once again, I didn't have a topic for today's talk until maybe Thursday last week. So being able to watch that video, hear him teaching this content over and over again, he's not going to do it the same way that I am, and I'm not going to do it the same way that he is. So when it comes to you creating your own content, don't be afraid about giving away what you know. Give it away freely, because if you do that, you are going to be seen as an industry leader, and then people are going to come to you for help with the problems that they have. So once again, don't keep your information to yourself. Be willing to help others. Don't have your content be me focused. Have it be how can I help you kind of focus. And once again, so this goes into our next point. So we are all poor judges of our own talent. So a couple years, or actually it was last week, I was having a conversation with a junior loan officer in my office, and we started talking about, okay, so I know you're kind of down in the dumps right now about how you feel this year is going for you, but from the things that you've told me, where are you now compared to where you were 5 years ago? So when he did that, I asked him how much money he was making at that point. And he said he was making about $30,000 about 5 years ago. Look, fast forward to today, he is easily into the six figures, and he's still at the beginning of his career. So and I asked him, so you 5 years ago, if you were the you 5 years ago is looking at you now, what would they think? What would they feel about how you've progressed? Would they look up to you? Would they not look up to you? And what I want you to do is stop being so hard on yourself. You have a gift that your creator has given you, and it is your responsibility to give that to the world. So whatever your gift is, if it's content, not content, whatever it is, my suggestion to you with this point is to not be so hard on yourselves. I think that we should stop being our own worst critic, be proud of the work we've done, but at the same time, be continuing to try to improve our craft, sharpen our style, whatever you want to call it. And really, because the 5 years ago you is looking up to you now, but at the same time, the 5 years from now you is depending upon you to get better. Because if you don't get better, you're going to be exactly where you are 5 years from now. So once again, there's two people that I want you to look at. The you 5 years ago, they should be proud of what you've done and where you are right now. And then the 5 years from you now is depending upon you to continue to get better, to continue to sharpen your saw, to continue to serve so you can grow into that person that you need to be, you want to be in the future. And then next one is plans are overrated. So this is something that I struggle with a lot. And the reason I struggle with this is because one of my gifts is I can plan, I can build systems, and then I can execute. However, what I've done is I've put myself in this box to where if I don't have a plan on how I'm going to execute, if I don't know what step is coming next, then I kind of seize up. So this is something that I struggle with, and I've struggled with for the last 6 years. And the next phase of where we are growing as a team is putting out more content like this, more posts on social media, trying to do all the things that I'm telling you to do so that we are evolving into a content producing machine. However, just going at it haphazardly gives me stress and anxiety. The one thing that I want you to do is not get stuck in analysis paralysis. So in the book, Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz, one of the things that he talks about is how missiles work. So a ship or the military fires a missile, it's not aiming at a specific target when it first gets started. It has that target coordinates in mind, but as it flies, it's going to get off target. And through negative feedback, it is able to correct course and then as it keeps getting more and more negative feedback, it's getting more and more accurate as it's approaching the target. So for you, just go, just start producing content, and then you are going to learn as you go. You are going to be able to critique your work positively and then adjust and then get better. And you'd be surprised about where your content strategy could take you once you get started. But having this perfectly laid out plan, this map, once again, like Mike Tyson would say, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. So have an idea of where you want to go and then start going in that direction. Because if you sit at the starting line waiting to have the perfect plan, you're not going to do it. You are going to continue to sit there and plan. Once again, going back to a prior point, done is better than perfect. Don't wait until it's perfect. Just start going and adjust as you go. And the last point that I wanted to make is what makes you weird makes you wonderful. So like we talked about earlier, being different is a competitive advantage. So I took the idea for this video, this live stream, off of a creator that I look to as inspiration. But how he did it is not going to be how I do it. And if you look at all the ideas that are out there, whether it's financial planning, whether it's real estate, whether it's content creation, whether it's whatever, there really aren't any new ideas out there. What has happened is that old information has been recycled, repackaged, and then pushed back out to the world. So if there's not any new ideas out there, how come there are new authors, new speakers, new content creators, new influencers that are coming onto the scene on a regular basis, but they are putting out the same information that has already been there? So one of the things that my wife has taught me, among many other things, love you, honey, is don't reinvent the wheel. You can recycle it into something that meets your brand, your style, your voice, but once again, make it yours. So having a content strategy and having it be uniquely you, I think is huge, because once again, you're not, even if you borrow information or strategies from other people that you see, other content creators, that's okay. Because once again, if you trace back the source of all ideas, they came from somewhere, but the person that you got it from, they got it from someplace else. So don't be worried about trying to be an imposter or trying to be putting out the same piece of content as someone else, because you're going to put your own spin on it, and it is going to come out to the world differently than the way that you received it. And if you have a few hundred people that are following you as far as social media or your email list, they are going to, each one of those people are going to receive that information differently than if they watch the original person. So give yourself some grace and then play on the things that make you unique. And in a book that I read, I can't remember what the source was, but it's actually Sally Hogshead. It's one of the things that she promoted in her book, and she's got a bunch of them. I can't remember which one it came from, but different is better than better. So one of the things that I learned early in my career is, as a new loan officer, one of the biggest problems that I had was exposure. So I was decent at my job, but if no one knew about it, then did it really matter? So to piggyback on different is better than better, it's okay for you to be different. You don't need to be exactly like everyone else out there. And then Neil Dingra has taught me recently, but it's not the best person that's going to win. It's going to be the best known. So you putting your own unique spin on the content you're going to create, once again, is going to touch different people in different ways. So that's kind of the end of the list that I wanted to go over. So we're going to recap. So once again, number one, go put in the work. Don't be afraid of the long game. There's going to be no finish line. There's no top of the mountain. So if you want to make content part of your strategy, just rest assured that you're going to continue to put out content for the long game. And the longer you play, the better you're going to get. So don't worry about being perfect right now. You're going to build upon micro failures as you go, and then just think about where you're going to be 5 years from now. Ignore those who don't care about your success. Once again, other people's opinions of you don't matter. Try new things. So continue to experiment, continue to put yourself out there. You're going to learn what works, what doesn't. And once again, it's going to come across as uniquely you as you build into your content marketing strategy as you go. And then done is better than perfect. Don't wait for your plans. Don't wait for your content to be perfect before putting it out there. Once again, content is a volume game. You could spend 10 hours trying to make one piece of content perfect, but that is potential sales lost along the way. And that's other content that you could have created in the meantime. Next one is be generous. So don't have your content be me focused, have your content be outward focused. Who can you help? Who can you serve? What problems can you fix? And once again, be easy on yourself. We are poor judges of our own talent. Take it easy on yourself, but just keep creating, keep trying to look for feedback that is going to help you get better over the long term. Plans are overrated. Once again, don't be like me. Don't have the analysis paralysis where your plan has to be perfect before you actually start going. Move in the direction you want to go, and then adjust along the way. And then what makes you weird makes you wonderful. So don't be afraid to be you. Your flaws are the flaws that God gave you, and be proud of who you are, and then make your content stick to who you are. So lean into the things that make you different. Lean into your knowledge base. Lean into being a little bit creative. Don't be afraid to put your voice out there. So that's kind of the list for today. Once again, I thank you for watching. It's a little bit shorter today because I got through that list a little bit faster than I expected, but I appreciate you. If you need help creating content or coming up with content, once again, this is a journey that we're actively working on right now. But once again, I want to help you get your content game up so that way you can serve at a higher level, because there's someone out there that needs to hear your voice, and they are waiting for you. So don't be afraid to put yourself out there. And if nothing else, thank you again for watching, and I'll talk to you guys next week.